When you think of motorsports and racing, what comes to mind? Most people would say NASCAR or F1 racing. They're familiar with the dozens of stock cars that are screaming around an oval circuit in NASCAR, or the long aerodynamic cars of F1 making incredibly sharp turns at unbelievable speeds. My subject of interest, however, has vast differences from either of these types of racing. Today, I'll be talking about rally racing, which is much less popular in the US, but I believe is more deserving of attention. I'll be going over what rally racing is, some history of this motorsport, and what makes rally racing different than other racing disciplines. Before we can go in depth about the sport, I have to first explain the basics. According to the WRC website, rally racing is a race against the clock, held on closed public roads. Each car has two occupants, a driver and a co-driver, who is also known as the navigator. The drivers go one at a time on a stage to try and complete the stage quickly, and their co-drivers are constantly reading pace notes that create a picture of the road and hazards ahead, including how far ahead a turn is and how fast the driver can go through the turn. Red Bull, who is a sponsor of the motorsport, in their website notes that these races don't happen on a dedicated racetrack like in other motorsports. Instead, rally races take place all over the globe, from Kenya to Japan, in closed-off sections of public roads. These roads can vary in their type and the weather conditions, including hard asphalt, rain, dirt, gravel, mud, snow, and even asphalt roads covered in ice. Drivers compete against the clock to try to finish an individual stage faster than other teams. Each event takes place in a different country and is comprised of multiple stages, and each stage can be up to 50 kilometers long. Teams are placed on a leaderboard based on who completes all the stages the fastest. First place is awarded the most points, second place a bit less, so on and so forth. Teams win championships based on cumulative points won throughout multiple events. The history of rally. So rally racing is actually the world's first motorsport event. AutoWise.com states that the Paris-Rouen horseless carriage competition of 1894 is commonly recognized as the first motor race in the world. Albert Lemaître won the race, driving his 3-horsepower Peugeot Type 7 at mind-blowing speeds of up to 12 miles per hour. There were various groups that organized rally races in the early to mid-1900s, and most of these races were held in Europe. However, the WRC, the most well-known and largest organization today, was established in 1973. The WRC creates rules and regulations, including limits on engine size and power, as well as the drivetrain and aerodynamics of the cars. Even today, rally racing is more popular in other parts of the world like Europe and Asia. Due to these sports' popularity in these continents, some manufacturers that used to be or are still involved with the sport today include Audi, Lancia, Mitsubishi, Subaru, Ford, Toyota, Hyundai, and Porsche, just to name a few. The sport even pioneered a common technology used in cars today, which is all-wheel drive. Rally cars need to have a road-legal version of the car to be eligible to compete, and the Audi Quattro S1 was the first mass-produced all-wheel drive vehicle. So what makes rally racing so different? As mentioned before, there's two occupants in a car, the driver and the co-driver. Although the driver is obviously the one controlling the car, the co-driver's importance cannot be underestimated. The drivers are going up to speeds of 110 miles per hour, which may not seem that fast compared to other types of racing, but you have to remember that rally racing takes place on narrow roads, in the rain and snow, on paved roads and muddy country roads with potential obstacles and changes of elevation. The co-driver is constantly reading their pace notes from a journal to the driver, informing them of what lies ahead. A mistake in the reading of these notes can cause even the most skilled driver to crash. You might be familiar with how a pit stop works in NASCAR or F1. The driver pulls into the service area, and within seconds, a pit crew changes the tires or adds fuel to the car, and the car takes off again. There's no pit stops mid-race, however, in rallying. Rally crews, the rally mechanics, are given designated time slots in between stages of an event to complete repairs. The time limit may go up to 45 minutes, which is a big difference from the seconds that are given to NASCAR crews. Rally crews are given more time because they have to change the car's suspension and tires based on different road surfaces and to repair or replace parts on the car. If the driver and co-driver experience a flat tire or another mechanical issue, they may pull over and try to change the tire if they have a spare, or try to use any tools that they might have to try to diagnose and fix the problem, according to the Skoda Motorsports website. There's a famous instance when the British co-driver Phil Mills had to tighten his driver's steering wheel while the driver was still driving at super high speeds without Phil's pace notes to guide him along. I've discussed the basics of rally, including drivers and co-drivers and race locations. I also went a bit into the history of the sport and how the WRC oversees the races. I also went a little bit more in depth about what separates rally racing from other kinds of racing. With all this information in mind, I've now potentially sparked more interest in this less popular motorsport. In an interview with Hemmings Magazine, the most successful American rally driver, John Buffum, had this to say about the differences between rally racing and other types of racing. A rally driver will do 1,000 corners, everyone different at different speed, so his skill lies in adaptation. A race driver will do 10 corners 100 times, and his skill is in duplications. Both drivers have to be consistent, but the race driver duplicates.